Okay, so yesterday we introduced the Heter of Davar HaAved, doing Melachon HaMoed for something which a person is going to lose, and we explained the crucial distinction between doing a Melacha for the loss of something which a person already has, and something which a person wants to gain from, wants to profit from. That generally is not allowed. However, and what would come out from that is, if we take an example, say buying and selling stocks and shares. So if a person sees that the stocks are going to go down, they're going to lose, so that's something already in a person's reshut, that's already in a person's property, it's already in their possessions. And therefore, then they certainly would be allowed to sell if they feel that they're going to lose by being passive and not selling. However, say that you see that some shares are very low, you want to buy them now. If you don't, you're not going to be losing anything. All that's going to happen is you're not going to make the profit which you want to make. Seemingly, one wouldn't be allowed to do that because one is doing a melacha one's doing business in order to gain, which, based on what we said yesterday, wouldn't be allowed. However, it's not as simple as that, because we do find in the Rishonim and in the Shulchan Aruch examples where they did allow the Hachamim to do melachot and to do business on Chol HaMoed, even if it's to profit from. So firstly, the Ritva writes, when this is the halacha, that you're allowed to do kiddushin to a woman on Chol HaMoed, even though that involves melacha of writing an agreement and doing the kiddushin. Now you think about it, what's the reason for this? The reason for this is because it's davar ha'aved. Because if you don't do it now, perhaps he or she will change their mind and the engagement won't take place till afterwards, and it won't take place at all. So therefore, you're allowed to do it straight away. Now, think about that. That is something which you're not going to be losing if it doesn't happen. You're just not getting the gain, what you want. And so the Ritva says that sometimes things which are so essential to a person, or there's such a great rebach, there's such a great profit, if you don't do it, then it's going to be considered as if it's a loss, even though it's about a profit, but nonetheless, because it's such a great profit, it's going to be considered like a loss. And it comes back to what we said yesterday, the rationale for this whole halacha is that Hachamim allowed you to do this so that you will not be thinking about, oh, I'm going to be losing, oh, this is what happens on the Moed, and you get upset and takes away from some half the Moed. Generally speaking, you get upset when you lose things. You get less upset when you don't make a profit which you could have made. But if that profit is such a huge one, and you have to sit back and watch it go in front of your eyes, that will make a person very upset. And therefore, something like that, where it's such a great profit, the Hachamim allowed it. Now, again, it's very difficult to define what does that mean, what's considered a great revach and a great profit and what's not. And that, it depends really on each person. To what extent are they allowed to do the melacha? Something like marrying a woman, doing kiddushin to a woman, objectively is permissible, because that, for everyone would agree, is something substantial, something which is very important. If a person wants to buy some shares and if they don't do it now, okay, they may lose. They may not get such a great profit. Fine, so that would be better not to. But when the person sees it's plummeted and now it's clear it's going up, if they don't do it now, they stand to lose hundreds, thousands of pounds. Then something like that is such a great revah that the Hachamim allowed a person to do. And so that's point number one. If, although we said the distinction between making a profit and losing something which a person already owns, if it's something which is so great, the profit involved, that is permissible even though you're standing to gain something. Secondly, based on the Yerushalmi, the Rosh writes, and the Shulchan Aruch is posek this, that if you have people who are coming to sell things in your area, and they're not going to be around after the Moed, and they're selling it for cheap, you are allowed to go and buy from them. And the idea behind this is that even though you're not going to profit by not going, that's it, you're not going to be losing anything. But because they're passing by and because they're not there the whole year, therefore the Hachamim allowed an example like this to be able, because they're coming and passing by, and by you not going to buy from them, you're not going to have this opportunity Again, the Shulchan Aruch gives another example. He talks about wine, buying wine at the time of harvest, and if you don't buy it now, you won't be able to buy it any other time of the year. So based on that, he allows as well a person to engage in merchandise and potential profits. Which would mean, seemingly according to this, if there is a sale, which is only once a year or perhaps twice a year, something which is uniquely a sale on Chol HaMoed, then potentially, based on this, a person would be able to. But just to say that, there's a sale going on for a few weeks, and yeah, okay, perhaps there'll be less material after the Moed. I don't know if that's strong enough. It has to be seriously that a person feels that it's not going to be around after the Moed. Then, in such a case, a person is allowed to go and do a melacha, even though they're going to go and profit from something. So, to summarize, and we're going to continue this tomorrow, Be'ezrat Hashem, although there is a fundamental distinction between the melachot which are allowed for profiting and for not losing, there are circumstances that Hachamim did allow it. Firstly, if there is a huge gain to be made, and secondly, if it's something which is passing by and won't be able to get it afterwards, Hachamim allowed that.